Well, hi everyone. I'm John Rethland with a retro review of WCW Thunder for May 3rd, 2000, the go-home show for WCW Slamboree 2000. There were matches with no referees, the wrestlers counted their own pinfalls, and we just decided when the matches were over. That's basically what the mindset was. It's like the wrestlers just decided when their matches were over. And there was a giant battle royal with people that just inserted themselves in there in mid-match. This was stuff that was actually put on a wrestling program in 2000. During the Monday Night Wars, even though by that point, WWE could have literally shit in the ring for 2 hours and they would have beaten Nitro because Nitro was taking the septic tank and pouring it all over the audience and all over the roster. And sweet Christ, why was Vince Russo ever allowed in professional wrestling? So, they're in the Mid-South Coliseum. That's a lot of rich history. Too bad they defecated all over that history. Then we get Schiavone, Tenay, and Heenan. That's a commentary team. Schiavone and Hudson were a hell of a commentary team for the last few months of WCW, but hey, at least Heenan was still there. Wouldn't be there very long because they would unfortunately get rid of him after his contract is up. But anyway, Millionaires Club is backstage waiting for the, parking garage door to open. And they were going to jump everybody in the New Blood. And they brawl with Russo's group. And then we go to commercial like about 5-6 minutes in. And then Russo's group comes down to the ring. And then the Millionaires Club is called down. Russo and Flair have a war of words because Flair could have literally said nothing and outclassed Vince Russo. No, it's not very hard to do. And Russo says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put names in my boot, and it's going to, in the Millionaires Club, you're going to get your names picked out of a boot, and any member of the New Blood can beat you up. This was stuff that actually was allowed on television, by the way. This is shit that was going on. No referees, no rules. Yet, you had to count your own pinfalls, so technically there are rules. Fucking hell. We get Jarrett with Kimberly. Kimberly cutting a promo where she's, trying to praise herself and, well, whatever. She looked good. That's about all I could really say about Kimberly. So it's Jarrett versus Canyon. In this match, DDP hits Kimberly with a guitar, Jarrett with the diamond cutter, and Canyon counts his own pinfall. This review will not take very long, folks, because there isn't a lot of good stuff, or even stuff worth ranting about here. Though, The Wall versus Lex Luger in a tables match. Liz is brought out. Flair and Russo yell at each other on commentary. Flair would have been well within his rights to chop Russo right in the goddamn throat. Not that it would have, mattered, because Russo still would have found a way to yell and bury everybody, because that's what he was doing. He was burying everybody. Even the people he was trying to get over, quote unquote, he was burying them because he was making it all about himself. And also, WCW was completely dead by this point. People can joke about Impact, seemingly being dead, or Ring of Honor seemingly being dead, despite any, continuation they have with angles and stuff like that as far as viewership. WCW was completely lifeless by this point. Nothing they did could go right. Any talents they tried pushing never went right. They gave Lance Storm multiple championships, and within a few weeks after that, he was just one of the guys. That's all he was. And Russo hadn't even debuted yet. He would debut soon. But anyway, so Russo stupidly hits Flair in the back of the head with the baseball bat. It didn't look like he was necessarily trying to pull up on that, so hopefully Flair was okay. The Wall goes through the table because Lex has him on the rack, and Wall sort of goes through the table, so they just declare that Luger wins. So basically, the Millionaires Club is pitching a shutout by this point, and Russo says, hey, Flair, you can get 5 minutes with me. Liz low blows him. He tries to attack. Bagwell and Douglas come down, and then Chronic come down and do this, and good lord, they would have a match later. We get Flair versus Kidman. Bad superplex spot. Looked like Flair really hurt his back there. We get some chops, and then Ray and Conan jump in. Here comes Nash, and he jackknifes Conan. And then Hogan attacks Kidman on the stage. Here's Mike Awesome. We're just throwing people out there. That's all this is. This is just people throwing out Human Centipede together in all these, freaking segments that make no goddamn sense. All these rivalries didn't mean anything because there wasn't a chance to let the storylines breathe because there weren't any goddamn storylines. Fucking hell. So then a jackknife to Mike Awesome. And then DDP's here. He's going to face Vampiro, but Vampiro gets attacked by Sting, who just sneaks up behind him in a cloak and then attacks him, pours blood on him in a bucket that just happened to have blood there at, on the stage. And then a Diamond Cutter and DDP counts his own pinfall. Mike Awesome versus Sting. Misfits in action attack Mike Awesome. And Awesome still selling his back from the jackknife and gets the Scorpion Deathlock put on him. And there we go. Rushing through this shit because my God. Why am I doing this to myself? Oh, I'm doing this to myself because I am bound and determined to watch WCW 2000/2001. Because at least in 2001, though the company was completely gutted, they tried to do something because thankfully, towards the end of 2000, they got rid of Vince Russo. So Scott Steiner's out there calling out Hulk Hogan saying his time is up, his time is now, ba 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 ba. No, I'm kidding. Scott Steiner versus Hogan. Hugh Morris helps Hogan by attacking Scott Steiner in the crowd and helping out Hogan and stuff like that. And Scott Steiner sees the 2-on-1 advantage when he gets back in the ring and leaves. It was maybe 5 minutes. I don't even know if it was 5 minutes. I don't think any of the matches actually put together were even half as long as the main event. I think of Buff Bagwell and Douglas versus Chronic, because reasons. Well, they've been building up this whole thing, Chronic winning a tag title shot, and they hit the high time, or the high tide, or the high fly tide, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. They count their own pinfall. That's just what happens. New Blood have weapons, and they go to the ring, and then Bischoff says, you want guerrilla warfare? You're going to get guerrilla warfare. Here's the Millionaires Club. We are literally back at the same point that we were at the beginning of the goddamn show. But then Flair says, hey, how about this? Let's have an over-the-top battle royal, as opposed to an under-the-big-top battle royal, or an under-the-bottom-rope battle royal. Whoever wins, it's Millionaires Club and New Blood. Everybody can join. Everybody gets to participate. And we get... and whoever, we get to see whoever wins get a title shot at Great American Bash 2000. Bischoff agrees. Referees are actually allowed for this, but weapons are legal. Because why the fuck not at this point? I'm not even going to go into everybody that was in this goddamn match, because it doesn't fucking matter. Pretty much everybody that you saw on the show, I believe sans Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash as Sans, by the way, would be pretty goddamn interesting. That's Undertale reference. Sans, I believe. Anyway. Durr would know more about that. But, so more people run in, like the Harris Brothers and the Mamalukes and Booker T with Harlem Heat, because they're back together all of a sudden. Ahmed Johnson, a.k.a. Big T, was actually in this match. Scary. I wonder how many people he injured, because it was a clueless twat. We get Asia and Medusa joining. And then we get Mona, who I believe was Molly Holly. I believe that was Molly Holly's name. They didn't really show her face much. So women join. Then Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's a janitor, by the way, he found the television championship in a dumpster and declared himself champion at one point. And we get him in the ring. He lumbers people with 2x4s. Do you get it? Do you get lumber? It's a funny play on words. Of course, if I had to say that, it probably isn't all that funny to people. So someone steps out of this limo that was backstage, the FU New Blood thing, FUNB, that was on there, because there was this limo backstage the whole time, or outside, and it turns out, oh, who the hell is it? It's somebody in leather pants and shoes and looks pretty determined, but it's only shooting from, like the knees down. It turns out it's Randy Savage. Randy Savage making an appearance. He's a free agent. He doesn't have a contract with WCW. Had not had a contract since, I believe, later 99. And comes out and throws a bunch of people out and stuff like that, and tries to go over the top to eliminate himself, but Douglas interrupts because Douglas was probably drunk at that point. And that happens, so he gets out of the ring, and I believe is attacking Kidman, but goes between the ropes and is never eliminated, but never declared the winner. Brett then comes in, hits Hogan with a chair, and leaves. Flair eliminates Douglas after Russo tries to do something athletic and fails, because Vince Russo's a goddamn failure. He's a goddamn piece of shit, and I hate Vince Russo, and Vince Russo deserves every bad thing said about him, and then some. And if he hates wrestling so goddamn much, then here's the thing, Russo, just eliminate your show and stop talking about anything. Because apparently he still talks about that. I don't know. I haven't paid any attention to anything Russo's really said, except when he talked about the Brawl for All. Boy, he came across like a goddamn idiot there. But anyway, then we get, so Douglas gets eliminated. So Ric Flair, that, great up-and-coming talent, gets a shot at the world champion. And that's what we were going to do. We were going to have Flair, I think he faced Kevin Nash, because I think Kevin Nash will win the championship sometime after Slamboree, but titles change hands so much in 2000, it didn't matter. We then get, what do we get? We get Kidman and Hogan and Bischoff, an announcer's table spot where, they kind of crash through it and Hogan's arm gets lacerated. DDP and Jarrett are on the staging. DDP gets tossed through part of the staging. And then Savage is trying to help Hogan, and smash cut to credit. That's it. That's the end of the show. That's the end of the goddamn show. I can't believe that I managed to make this review that long. This show was shit. And I don't mind long matches in battle royals, but it's like you had just had people joining up or just people leaving and whatever. Nothing made sense. It's no wonder the WCW went out of business. A lot of factors went into it, but the fact is this company was dead by this point. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.